This example is from MGF 1107, section 11.2, when it deals with a loan and there's a partial payment prior to the maturity date of the loan. So instead of just paying it once at the end of the loan, you're paying a payment somewhere before the final payment, and then you're also paying it off on the maturity date. So that's called a partial payment. And when you make a partial payment, you have to pay the interest from the effective date, which is kind of like the start date, and when the partial payment is made. So in this problem, the principal is $9,000. The interest rate is 3% a year, and the effective date is July 15th. Now you notice we don't have to have it all paid off until maturity date of February 1st, the $9,000. Yet, we're going to make a partial payment on December 9th of $3,000. Now we're going to have to figure out how much interest will be charged for that partial payment from July 15th to December 9th. So we're going to calculate the interest over those days, and we got to make sure that we take that away from the partial payment amount and then subtract that from the principal. So we first have to calculate interest, and we know that simple interest is I is equal to P times R times T. So in this case, the amount of interest on that partial payment will be $9,000, which is the principal. The rate is 3%, so to convert that to a decimal, it's 0.03. And then time has to be in years, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the number of days between the effective date and the partial payment date and divide that by 360 to convert it to how much of a year. Now to do that, we need to use the provided table. This table is also in Blackboard and in your e-text. I have it on the next page, so let's remember two dates, July 15th and December 9th. So if we look at this table, we have July here, and we want to know day number July 15th, which day number that is. So follow that column down for July until you get to the 15th, which is day number 196 in the year. And we're going to make our partial payment on December 9th, which is day 343. So we have to pay interest for the number of days between day number 196 and 343. So we take 343 and we subtract 196, and we get 147 days. So let's go back to the previous page. So I believe we just said that our number of days was 147, but that's days, so to convert that to years, we have to divide it by 360. So the amount of interest that we're going to owe on December 9th will be 9,000 times 0.03 times 147 over 360. And we only want to round to the nearest penny at the very, very end. So I'm going to take 147, I'm going to divide it by 360, and I'm not going to round that number. It's 0.408333. I'm going to times that by 0.03, 300ths, and I'm going to times that by 9,000. And I get $110.25. And that's the interest that I'll owe for the dates July 15th to December 9th. So, in order to figure out what the new balance is on December 9th, or right after December 9th, once we make that payment, we have to realize that the I'll just write new balance on 12/9 will be equal to the $9,000, but we're going to be able to reduce that principal. But we're not going to be able to reduce the principal by a whole $3,000 because we have to pay the interest first. That's what the U.S. rule says. The U.S. rule says you first have to pay your interest, then you can reduce your principal. So we're going to subtract from $9,000 whatever the difference is between $3,000 minus the interest that we owe. So it's going to be something like $2,800 and something. So we're going to take 3,000, subtract 110.25 for the interest. So we're going to have $9,000 minus $2,889.75. Or what you could have took is you could have took the balance of $9,000. You could have added the interest of 110.25 and then subtracted 3,000, and that would have given the same number. And that number is $9,000 minus 2,889.75, which is, we still have $6,110.25. That's the new principal. That's the new principal or the new balance of the loan. And remember, we have to pay off that loan by February 1st. So now we're on December 9th. So we have to figure out how much more interest we have to pay from December 9th to February 1st. So to do that, so I'm going to just put P here. That's the new P, the new principal. So to figure out the amount of interest we owe on the maturity date, we're going to use I is equal to PRT again. I is equal to PRT, but now we have a new P. I'll put it in parentheses. We have a new principal. The same rate. It's not a variable rate. It's the same rate, 3% annual interest rate. So since that's an annual interest rate, we have to take the number of days and divide it by 360, according to the banker's rule. So we have to count the number of days from December 9th to February 1st. So we're going to count it from December 9th to the end of the year, and then from the beginning of the year to February 1st. So we're going to have to go back to the provided table. Because remember, the question says, well, how much do we have to owe on the date of maturity? I mean, we have to do these intermediate steps in order to figure that out, though. So it's a two-step process at least. So let's go back to the table. Remember, February 1st. So here we are with the table. So to calculate the number of days from December 9th to, I believe we said February 1st. Notice that's the February column, and it's the first day of the month, so it's the 32nd day of the year. So we first have to figure out how many days are there from December 9th to the end of the year. So we just go 365 minus 343, so I believe that's 22 days there. Plus, I think we just said February 1st was the 32nd day of the year. 32. This is 54 days. So from December 9th to February 1st is 54 days. So we have to count the number of days to the end of the year and then the number of days in the new year. So all total, that gives us 54 days. 22 plus 32. So in our formula, the number of days was 54. But we want to convert that to years, so we have to divide it by 360, which is what the banker's rule says we have to do. So 54 divided by 360 is a decimal, 0.15, times that by 0.03, which is 0.0045, then times that by $6,110.25. So all I did is multiply those three numbers together, and we get the interest that's owed is $27.496. So 496, which means we have to round up to $27.50. Now that's just the interest from December 9th to February 1st. So if we want to pay off our bill on that date of maturity, what we have to do is we have to take our principal on December 9th, which is the $6,110.25, and add the interest, which would be $27.50. And if we add those two up, that will give us the total amount that's due to pay off that loan. So $27.50 plus $6,110.25 is $6,137.75. That's how much we would have to pay on February 1st if we've already made a payment of $3,000 on December 9th. So that is our answer to this question.